Today's objective is dimensional analysis multi-step. So this is more complex than the basic one. All right, today we will change more complex ratios. So I need to change 18 miles per hour to feet per second. All right, so I'm changing miles to feet as my first one. And then I'm changing hours to seconds as my second change. So please remember the rules from the last one, which are, first we set up all of our words diagonally so that we can cancel them out before we multiply. Then we put in the numbers. Then we simplify and get the answer. And today I was smarter and I brought my calculator over in case it's big. And you are allowed to use calculators on these, but you also need to cancel first. And that's one thing that sometimes you forget to do with a calculator. So we will cancel first and only use a calculator if we need to. All right, so let's talk about how I set this up. I need to change miles to feet. So I first wrote my problem, 18 miles to 1 hour. Let's cover this all up. Now, I need to change miles to, what did I do first? Miles to feet and hours to seconds. I decided to change my hours first for some reason. I don't know why. So since hours are in the denominator, I wrote it in the numerator. And on this, I color-coded the words so you can see how they line up. So here's in the denominator, here's in the numerator. But I don't know how many seconds are in an hour. But I do know how many minutes are in an hour and how many seconds are in a minute. So first I'm going to convert hours to minutes. But since this isn't my final denomination, or it's not the word I'm thinking. It's not the final thing that I want. Thing's always good to substitute. I'm going to write another ratio and put minutes up in the numerator and seconds in the denominator, and that way I can cancel my hours and cancel my minutes, and I'll just end up with seconds. And seconds is where I want to end up, okay? So now I'll change the miles to feet. So since I go way back to the beginning, I see miles is in the numerator, I'm going to write it in the denominator, and I know how many feet are in a mile, so I don't have to do any other conversion. So I can just write feet up there, and my green words are the ones I'm going to end up with. So you don't need to write it in different colors, but you do need to make sure that your words are diagonal. So if this is in the denominator, the opposite goes in the numerator. Denominator, numerator, denominator, that's where I'm going to end up, and the numerator, denominator. Now let's fill in our numbers. Hours to minutes. In 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. Minutes to seconds. In 1 hour, there are 60 seconds. So maybe you can remember this. What's 60 times 60? 3,600. So in 1 hour, there are 3,600 seconds. So if you know that, you could save yourself a step. Okay? I actually do know that. But for teaching you, I don't know that. Okay? Now, let's do our feet and miles. Well, in 1 mile, there are 5,280 feet. So you see, some of these numbers are in the numerator, and some of them are in the denominator, and what's most important is the word. So I don't want you just, filling in your numbers first, because then you could make a mistake. All right, now let's simplify. I can cross off hours and minutes and minutes and miles and miles. And when I do that, I should only have one word left in the numerator and one in the denominator, which I do. Feet and seconds, which is what I want. Now let's start simplifying, okay? So what goes into 18 and 60? Hopefully you said 6. So it goes into 18 3 times, and it goes into 60 10 times. Does 3 go into 60? Well, yeah, it does too. 3 goes into itself once, 3 goes into 60 20 times. Can I simplify this 10 and this 5,280? Uh-huh. And this makes this 528. Nice 5. Ooh, better 8. It's hard to write on these with the angle, huh? And what about 2 into 520 into 258? Well, I can divide by 2. Let's just do that. And I'll get 10. And this would be 264. And if I divide by 10, I'll get 26.4. So let's just leave it at that for right now. So my numerator, 264. My denominator, 10, and 1. So now, to do the math, all I have to do, I'll do it in 2 steps. This is 264 over 10. And if we do that on the calculator, or not, we don't need a calculator, we get 26.4 feet in 1 second. So what that means is 18 miles per hour equals 26.4 feet per second. And if that was you could go pretty fast. All right, so the key to this is to set up the words diagonally. I can't say this enough. You need to do this. It makes these problems so easy. And this is stuff you'll do in science. It'll make your life so easy if you just will do this. And we want to do this so they can be canceled, because this is just a really big fraction problem like we had in the last chapter, where you simplify first before you multiply. Then fill in the numbers after you get all the words in the right place. Otherwise, you're going to make mistakes. So please do it this way. It's the best way. Let's do a couple more. Let's change $8 per hour to $1 per week, which, let's pretend this is the cost to rent a truck and you have to pay per hour or something, okay? So it goes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Notice we're not changing our dollars. So in this one, we're just changing from hours to weeks. So let's set it up. So I have $8 for 1 hour. So I need to change hours to days, and then days to weeks, because I don't know how many hours are in a week. And that's where sometimes kids get stuck, because they say, I don't know how many hours are in a week. Well, think about what you do know, all right? So in 1 day, there are 24 hours, and in 1 week, there are 7 days. Now let's cancel everything. I can cancel hour, I can cancel day. Now in this problem, I only have 1s in the denominator, so I can't cancel any of my numbers. So I'm going to use my handy dandy calculator. But I'm going to do in my head, 8 times 7 is 56, and just say 56 times 24, and get $1,344 per week. Okay, it's 1 week. I'll just put it in there. Now this is a little bit funnier because the dollar sign goes in front, but it is the same. It still tells us what we're talking about. So if you make $8, if it costs $8 an hour to rent this truck, it would be $1,344 a week. And hopefully you're running this truck 24 hours a day. All right, last one. Let's change 40 inches per minute to yards per 30-day month. Because if I just say month, you don't know if I'm talking about a 30-day month, a 31-day month, or February, if it's a leap year. So that's why I'm telling you it's a 30-day month. All right, set it up. 40 inches, 1 minute. Now we're going to change inches to yards and minutes to days. So what did I change first? Look. Well, inches in the numerator, inches in the denominator. That's what I'm doing first. So I'm going to change inches to yards, and I know that conversion. Okay, so I only have to do it once. And now I need to change minutes all the way to 30-day month. So I change minutes to hours, hours to days, days per month. Let's fill in the numbers. Okay, this is it's really kind of fun setting it up. It's like a little puzzle. You just go diagonally, and then it tells you exactly what to do. So in 1 yard, there are 36 inches, and we're done with that. In 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. In 1 day, there are 24 hours. And in this one, this is 30, ooh, that's ugly, huh? 30 days in 1 month. Okay, so if I had said it's February on a non-leap year, you would put in 28 for that one. All right, what can we cancel? Inches with inches, minutes with minutes, hours with hours, days with days. And now our only word in the numerator is yards, which is what I want. And the only word in the denominator is months, which is what I want. Let's see if we can simplify any of our numbers now. Well, the only thing that's in the denominator is 36. So let's say 6 goes into 36 6 times, 6 goes into 60 10 times. Could I have simplified by a bigger number, like 12? If you thought 12, good job. So, but now let's simplify it a little bit more. Let's say 6 goes into, 6 doesn't go into 40, but 2 goes into 40, right? And 2 goes into this 3 times. I don't want 40 to feel alone. 2 goes into this 20 times. Now my numerator has a 21, 10, 24 and 30. Can we cancel 3 into 24 or 30? We could do it into both of them, huh? So let's simplify this 3. Let's say 3 goes into 24 8 times. Now the only thing that's left in my numerator is 21, 10, 8, and 30. And my denominator 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So I can't simplify anything else. So let's do some multiplying in our head first, then we'll do the calculator. So 20 times 10 is 200, right? And 8 times 30 is 240. So let's do 200 times 240, and we get 48,000. If you have a calculator, do it on your calculator. See if you get that. You will. Okay, 48,000. So, because 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 40 inches per minute to yards per month. If I can move 40 inches in a minute, that's 48,000 yards in a month. Now, why would you need to know this? Well, probably not this thing, but we do change all the time, okay? It's like, especially if you're an engineer. That's it.